Hey guys, how you going? Today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Daughters of Thanos, Nebula, and Gamora. They are from the Hasbro Build-A-Figure line for Mantis, and yeah, I guess these are pretty old figures, but we kind of found them online, and then we thought they were pretty much worth it. We did need like a better looking Gamora, and we didn't have a Nebula in our collection, so we thought we might as well pick these up. We bought them on Amazon, amazon.com.au. So they roughly cost us about 40 to 50 bucks, which is all right since they're pretty old figures. Let's get into the packaging. So as you can see on either sides, you have either Gamora or Nebula. Nebula on the left side of the box and Gamora on the right. The front is just a window looking at the packages and the figures inside. We can see both Nebula and Gamora just sitting right behind the plastic. Um, the accessories are also displayed pretty well. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 logo at the bottom here. And let's look at the back just to see what other figures were part of this line. So we've got Rocket Raccoon, Gamora, Nebula, Star-Lord, whoever this guy is, and this guy. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to show you guys just the back of the packaging so that we can see all the other figures that comes with this wave. So we've also got a really good picture of Gamora and Nebula on the back here. There's a bit of a write-up up top if you wanted to look at that. You can pause now and just read through that if you want. We can build a Mantis figure here. So you get parts 2 and 3 with Gamora left leg. Oh, sorry, Gamora with the right leg and Nebula with the left leg. You can also get Rocket with the torso for Mantis, and you can get Star-Lord with the head, looks like. No, with the right arm, and two Cosmic Protectors with the head and the other arm. And you can also get Marvel's Death Head 2 with this series, but he doesn't come with any BF parts. So we'll take the figures out of the packaging and get a closer look. Alright, so in terms of accessories, this is everything that Nebula and Gamora comes with. We'll take a look at Nebula's accessories first. This is what she comes with. She comes with this small pistol weapon thing here. Looks pretty cool. And she also comes with an additional hand. So this is her robotic arm that I think I'm not entirely sure how this comes about, but she's got this robotic arm as well. It's got articulation at proper places, and you can just peg it into her elbow. Gamora's got an extended version of her sword, as well as a collapsed version of her sword, or whatever that is. Looks like a sword, but yeah, I don't know what the alien terminology for that is. But yeah, those look pretty good. They've got lots of details on them, but not that much paint. It's just silver. And she also comes with this awesome looking blaster. So I think the blaster is probably my favorite weapon out of everything. It just looks really good. The paints on it is pretty good. They've got a little bit of shading going on here and there. The sculpt detail is obviously really good. The handle might have benefited from being a little bit black just to break up the silver, but yeah, it's just done really well. Looks like a gunmetal kind of color as well. And they both come with Mantis's legs, so the right and the left. I forget which one comes with which, but yeah, you basically get Mantis's legs. And this one looks a little bit warped. It's got a bend to it, but yeah, it's alright. Yeah, that does look weird. When it's fitted, she's gonna stand a little bit wonky, I guess. But yeah, Mantis's legs. Alright, so first we'll take a look at Gamora. This is what her face looks like. It looks pretty spot on to the actress in the movie. That's just a really good face sculpt. The sculpted details and the very defined detailed lines look pretty awesome as well. The hair's done really well. It's a softer plastic, not as soft as you'd like, but it's still soft enough. The suit's really good. The overcoat or the coat that she's wearing on top kind of looks like the one that comes with the Scarlet Witch figure, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't have that figure, and it's really hard to find as well. Yeah, the sculpting is done really well. The clothing is pretty darn good. The paint on it is actually pretty incredible. And yeah, it looks like a really good figure. So we do have a comparison figure for her. This is the previous version of Gamora, which obviously doesn't look as good now because of the face technology has probably changed a lot since this figure was done. and that figure just looks so much better. So in terms of the face sculpt, that does look more accurate. It's more, I guess the size is even better, the head size. Yeah, the clothing's, yeah, that joint is really hideous over there. This joint looks so much better, the thigh joint or the crotch joint. Yeah, this looks so much better than this one. Yeah, and this doesn't stand that well either. So I definitely give this figure like a really big point in terms of likeness to the actress. So now let's take a closer look at Nebula. This is just her spinning around in the base. Uh, this is what her face sculpt looks like, and it's a really good face sculpt. It looks really close to the actress in the movie that's portraying Nebula. The golds on there is really well. It really shines through. It's just done really well. The head from the back, the front, everywhere just looks incredible. The suit also has a lot of good details going on. The paintwork is pretty incredible. The metal arm is pretty good. Yeah, it just looks like a really good figure. All the details, all the coloring, everything's done really well. The sculpt work, there's so much fine details in the figure, in the sculpt, that it's just incredible how this is done. Yeah, it's just a really good representation of the character, and it's a really good figure. So in terms of articulation, for Gamora, she can't look that far back up because of her hair sculpted piece. She can look a little bit down, but that's not too much. So there's a limited head motion because of the hair. She can look left and right. Yeah, you can get the head piece out of the way, so that works okay. Her torso can crunch that far forward and that far back. Oh, her head can. So okay, so let's go back to the head. The head can actually, because of the hinge, can tilt forward and back. So it's got a decent range for hair being sculpted. Not much crunch, but a little bit going back. There's no waist swivel, but there's a torso swivel here. The arms can go that far out, which is pretty good. Single hinge elbows, which is alright, so it's 90 degrees, and you can swivel at the elbows as well. The hands can rotate around and has this up and down hinge as well, which is good, but it's a really small hinge, so I'd be careful with these figures. In terms of the hips, they can, whoa, that just came off, but yeah, they can go that, yeah, they can't go that far out. It's probably that much. It can twist around, so there's a thigh swivel, double bend in the knees, which is pretty good. Yeah, the thing doesn't really hinder it. It's good double bend in the knees. You can kick forward that much and kick back not as much because of, well, the sculpted butt as well as the coat piece. The legs can go that far up, which is pretty good. That far down, that's awesome. And it can not pivot that much. Can it? No, it can't pivot that much. So it can turn left, right a little bit. So that's the articulation on Gamora. The thighs I'm a little bit, or the ball hinge here, I'm a little bit disappointed about because it almost came off. But I guess it's alright. So in terms of Nebula, she's got no hair, so she should be able to get better head motion. So that's how far she can look up. That's how far she can look down. So she can basically tuck her chin to her chest. She does have left to right articulation here and not much pivot. In terms of the torso, whoa, that's stiff. She can't really do too much. It's just that much back, that much forward, and I do feel like I'm putting a little bit of pressure on that, so I don't want to do anything beyond that. In terms of the shoulder, that's how far up it can come. She's got a single hinge in the elbows, and the elbows can swivel around. Same articulation as Gamora in the wrists, I think. Yeah. So the wrists can go up and down, and they can swivel around. She's got a swivel at the waist, which is different to Gamora, but she's got a swivel there. In terms of her hips, she can kick that far out, which she can't do the splits, which is, I guess, it's alright. She's got a thigh swivel, and she can swivel on the actual pin here. She's got double joint in the knees, no boot cut, and her feet can go, whoa, that far up. It's a bit tight that far down, which is awesome. And she's got awesome pivot. So yeah, that's the articulation for these figures. So in terms of height comparison, this is what the figures next look like next to each other. I think they're pretty spot on. I don't know if Nebula is a bit taller than Gamora or not, but the figures do look like Nebula is a bit taller. This is what the old Gamora looks like next to these figures. She's a bit harder to stand, so I'll try to get her to stand, but yeah, no, can't get her to stand. So this is what they look like next to each other. So the old Gamora is a bit shorter. Still, we've got a few other female figures that we wanted to compare these guys to. This is what they look like next to the Endgame Wave Rescue. So she looks a little bit taller than the other two, but she's got armor on, so that's pretty consistent. We've also got this awesome, amazing figure of Psylocke. So this is what she looks like next to the rest of the figures. We've got Captain Marvel, and that's what she looks like next to these figures. So they're all pretty decent size. They look comparable to each other, and yeah, it looks pretty good. And this is what they look like next to Scarlet Witch. Oh, sorry, Scarlett Johansson Black Widow figure. So yeah, I think they scale pretty well, and they're just a really good looking couple of figures. So in conclusion, I think the Daughters of Thanos, these figures are just absolutely incredible. The paintwork on them, the sculpt work on them, just the likeness to the actual characters and the resemblance to the actual actresses. These are really good figures. Yeah, if you have a Guardians of the Galaxy collection, these would look really good next to them. Just if you have like a Black Order collection and a Thanos, you'd probably make do with having these, and then they look really good. They're just really good figures. They're probably a little bit harder to find now, but I think Amazon should still have a few. But these are just absolutely beautiful figures, and if you get the chance, definitely do buy them.